Have you ever walked through the streets of Accra and looked up to see a towering marvel of glass and concrete, one that didn't just stand tall but spoke volumes about the country's vision? This isn't just another office complex. This is the Bank of Ghana head office, now known as the Bank Square, an architectural monument in the heart of Ghana's capital that embodies power, purpose, and national identity. But to understand how we got here, we must first take you back in time. The year is 1957. Ghana has just gained independence. Kwame Nkrumah stands at the helm of a new African republic, determined to break away from colonial systems, not just politically, but economically. Among the first acts of sovereignty was the establishment of a central bank. The Bank of Ghana was founded by Ordinance No. 34 on March 4, 1957, just 3 days before independence. That timing was deliberate. It marked a statement to the world. Ghana would manage its own economy, control its own interest rates, and issue its own currency. 5 months later, on August 1, 1957, the Bank of Ghana officially opened its doors at 1 Thorpe Road, Accra. Its first governor, Mr. Alfred Eggleston, a Scotsman and former advisor to the West African Currency Board, led a team of dedicated professionals to begin building Ghana's financial future. Back then, the bank had just 4 departments: the Governor's Office, Administration and Accounts, Economics and Statistics, and Banking. These small teams were given a huge mandate: regulate money supply, supervise banks, maintain financial stability, and protect the value of Ghana's national currency. By 1965, Ghana introduced its own currency, the cedi, replacing the Ghana pound. It was the first fully sovereign post-colonial African currency not tied to a British or French monetary union. As operations grew, so did the need for space. The headquarters at 1 Thorpe Road became inadequate. In the early 1970s, an annex was constructed, Cedi House, a 14-story building that housed departments like banking supervision, currency processing, and even the Ghana Stock Exchange. But time and complexity caught up. The bank was operating out of rented buildings, departments were scattered across the city, and security needs had evolved. The buildings were no longer structurally compliant with modern fire codes, cybersecurity standards, and earthquake resilience. And so, the vision of the Bank Square was born. The new site is located on Castle Road in the historic and strategic district of Victoriaborg, Accra. Known for hosting some of Ghana's most important civic structures, the Ministry of Finance, Independence Arch, Osu Castle, and the Supreme Court, it was the perfect place to raise a modern monument of financial power. Commissioned on November 20, 2024, by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Bank Square stands as a flagship for Ghana's financial maturity. Designed by Sir David Adjaye, a Ghanaian-British world-renowned architect, the building combines modern engineering with traditional Ghanaian culture. Adinkra symbols, Kente-inspired panel layouts, and bronze motifs are subtly integrated into the facade, walls, floors, and corridors. The building doesn't just house policy, it expresses identity. The Bank Square consists of a 22-story main tower, a 9-story administrative block, an amenity pavilion, a rooftop garden, underground parking with intelligent access systems, and a state-of-the-art museum of currency. This building isn't only designed to impress, it's designed to endure. At its core is sustainability. The Bank Square is EDGE certified and runs partially on solar energy generated through a rooftop photovoltaic canopy. The air conditioning and lighting systems are automated through a building management system that adjusts energy use based on occupancy and daylight. Rainwater harvesting tanks supply water for landscaping and sanitation, while wastewater is recycled for cooling systems. UV filtering glass reduces solar heat gain, minimizing the need for air conditioning. Beyond the building's green credentials, its most valuable assets are the people who work there. Inside, over 3,000 employees work across departments such as financial markets, banking supervision, currency operations, legal, IT security, and research. Each employee is assigned to a smart workstation, equipped with encrypted dual-screen terminals, noise-cancelling headsets, ergonomic furniture, and biometric logins. Health, safety, and mental well-being are prioritised. Wellness rooms, a staff gym, meditation areas, and healthy food options in the cafeteria all contribute to a high-performance but balanced work environment. Security is uncompromising. Perimeter walls are fitted with thermal sensors, motion detectors, and armed guard posts. Entry requires biometric authentication, retina scans, and multi-factor smart card systems. Critical zones, like the currency vaults and intelligence units, require dual access confirmation from two separate departments. Underground lies one of the most secure vaults in West Africa. This is where Ghana's currency is received, stored, counted, verified, and dispatched to financial institutions. The vault is climate-controlled and protected with AI-monitored access systems, vibration detection, and 24-hour biometric surveillance. Technology is deeply embedded throughout the building. The Bank Square hosts Ghana's financial nerve center for digital resilience. Its in-house cybersecurity team monitors threats, prevents fraud, and runs simulations to counter ransomware and DDoS attacks. It maintains an API-secured environment where commercial banks, mobile money operators, and fintech platforms connect directly for real-time interbank transactions and liquidity analysis. There is also a financial innovation wing, a digital sandbox, where developers collaborate on projects like the ECD, Ghana's central bank digital currency, AI-powered credit scoring, and blockchain-based compliance systems. Perhaps one of the most groundbreaking features of the building is its public access. Unlike many central bank headquarters that feel sealed off from the people, the Bank Square is welcoming. There's a currency museum open to the public, displaying cowries, colonial banknotes, withdrawn cedis, and the latest polymer notes. School children visit weekly. Interactive screens explain inflation, interest rates, and monetary policy. Adults can explore how to spot counterfeit notes, save for retirement, or understand exchange rates. There's also a 300-seat conference center equipped for live streaming and simultaneous translation. It hosts the Monetary Policy Committee press briefings, stakeholder consultations, continental forums, and public lectures. During Ghana Month and Financial Literacy Week, the building transforms into a civic space. Families walk the museum. Youth join essay competitions on saving and entrepreneurship. Economists deliver talks to crowds eager to understand how money shapes their lives. All of this is intentional. Because central banking in Ghana is no longer just about macroeconomics, it's about engagement. That doesn't mean the journey has been without controversy. During Ghana's post-COVID recovery period and IMF debt restructuring in 2023, the construction of the new headquarters came under fire. Critics argued that it was ill-timed, too extravagant, and detached from the economic realities facing ordinary Ghanaians. Questions were raised in Parliament. Civil society groups demanded transparency. Editorials debated the symbolism of an opulent building, while citizens faced inflation and fiscal pressure. In response, the bank clarified that the project had been approved years earlier and was funded through its own internally generated resources, not taxpayer funds or IMF loans. It emphasized that the old buildings were structurally unsafe and that the new headquarters would centralize operations, reduce long-term costs, and support thousands of jobs. Engineers had found fire risks, outdated server rooms, and seismic vulnerabilities in the old facilities. The bank simply could not continue operating at modern standards from obsolete infrastructure. Now complete, the Bank Square offers Ghana a place that rivals global standards. Compared to other central bank headquarters, like Nigeria's CBN in Abuja, South Africa's Reserve Bank in Pretoria, or even the Bank of England, Ghana's new HQ is among the most modern, sustainable, and inclusive in Africa. It serves not just as a workplace, but as a national landmark, public classroom, technology hub, and museum of history. And it's only the beginning. As part of Vision 2030, the Bank of Ghana is moving toward full digitalization. The ECD will be expanded. All banking supervision will be automated. Data analytics will guide monetary policy. Cyber defense systems will become AI-driven. The museum is expected to reach over 1 million students by 2030. Financial literacy platforms will be launched in schools and local communities. And the conference center will host continental economic summits. Because this is more than a building, it's a message. It says Ghana believes in its future, that it is ready to lead, that it takes itself seriously, and the world should too. So, the next time you pass by Castle Road, look again at the Bank Square. Don't just see the glass, steel, and concrete. See a country stepping forward with confidence. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to our channel for more documentaries about Africa's infrastructure, innovation, and success stories. Until next time, stay inspired and keep building.